Welcome to Birds of Prey Sports, where we weekly cover Ravens and Orioles news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared. And in this video, we're going to be doing a game recap of the Eagles versus Ravens. A very disappointing game, a very concerning game, when it comes to our special teams, specifically our kicking, as well as the
Everything, really.
offense, yeah, everything. Well, I wouldn't really say the defense,
No,
but
I'm saying like all the special teams,
oh,
like
all the
punt
special teams.
returning, punting, kick return, kicking, all of that.
All of it, all of it, and
Yeah.
even there's some things going on with Diontae Johnson. So, we're gonna get into it in this video, and by end of it, we want to hear your guys' thoughts too. But to start off, I want to talk about Tuck. You know, he's missed he's missed 10 kicks overall this season. I believe he's missed what about three extra points and
I know he's 19 for 27.
19 for
So
27.
he's
Yeah.
missed eight
It's in the,
kicks. He's missed at
yeah.
least one extra point that I can remember. So he's missed at least nine.
Yeah, it's in the 9 to 10 range I remember seeing, but
I'm gonna
not a
look it
great
up.
season for him. And I just wanted to say I pointed this out to you, I believe like a week ago in the messages. People have been saying that they've seen some regression in Tuck since 2022. And I kind of been looking at his numbers. I believe in 2022 he missed like 5 field goals. And then last year he might have missed something like seven. And then this year he's missed 10 kicks. And people have been attributing it to Jordan Stout taking over when it comes to the hold. I think we got a new long slapper. It wasn't Morgan Cox, it was somebody else. Tyler Ott, I think his name
Yeah,
is.
he got. I think Morgan got hurt last year when the
Yeah,
preseason, and then we had to have a new long snapper last year.
yeah, so it's been a lot of changes with that, but then you have Harb saying that it's something in his technique, that's like flawed and not right. So you know the bye week is, actually the bye week has kind of went by. This is game day week now, but we're hoping that Tuck, has, gotten the chance to, practice and get his form back, his technique right. But in the meantime, I've seen that, we brought in some kickers like Greg Zerline. I believe we brought in it was Greg Zerline. I'm not sure if it was Will Lutz. Um, we
Although
brought
Lutz
in
was,
Crosby, Mason Crosby.
I actually didn't see that. I actually didn't see that. I didn't know we
Yeah,
did that.
it was Mason Crosby, Greg Zerline, and it was another kicker. But I don't know about Mason Crosby. He might be worse than Justin Tucker. I remember him on the Packers. They used to
Might as
call
well
him
sign Cundiff.
Crossbar. They used to call him
Missing crossbar.
yeah. Well, Skip Bayless used to call him that. But we did bring him some kickers, to kind of give him a little bit of competition. But I expect Tuck to win. We do here too. But you know, hopefully he can get that sorted out. What are your opinions on Tuck's, season struggles?
Well, right now that I'm looking at it, what Sam Cook retired at 2021 after 2021 season, if I'm correct. George Stout came in 2022. This is the first time in his career he's been at under 90% field goal percentage made for three straight seasons. The most he had before was just two. And his worst season was 2015. He missed seven kicks, which was he was what 33 for 40, 82%, or 82.5. But
Yeah.
this year he's 19 for 27. He's already missed eight kicks, and that puts his average, his field goal percentage under 90%. He's at 89 now. So it's not a coincidence. Now we did try him out there a lot the last few seasons. 43 times last year. 43 times in 2022. 37 times last year and 27 times this year so far. But I don't know. It's starting to become a problem closer now. Like 40 from 49. I feel like he was automatic. From 40 to 49. Last year he was just 11 for 12. He was 1 for 5 from 50. So last year it started the 50, yarder started to miss a little bit more. Last year one
Yeah.
for 5, like I said, but now this year, I mean, he's made four of them, but he's 4 for 9. He still missed, what, five already? Now he's 5 for 8 from 49, 40 to 49. He's perfect from 20 to 29 to 30 for 39 as well. He's 7 for 7 and 3 for 3. So at least he's not missing up close, but still he's missed two extra points this year as well. So again, I don't know what goes into kicking. I've never really paid attention to that facet of the game. I mean, how can you blame me or anybody on that matter? We didn't have to pay attention to it. If our offense and defense sucked, there was one thing that was for certain. That was Tucker was great, and he can make you a field goal. He can win you a game from 50 plus. He can drill it right down the middle. It's not like he's bouncing off the crossbar like he did in Detroit, but that was
Mhm.
from 66. So maybe it is Stout. Maybe it is Morgan. Maybe Morgan's not snapping it right anymore after that injury he had. I think he had an Achilles injury or something. I forgot exactly what it was, but maybe he's not snapping it right anymore. I don't know. Maybe Stout's not holding it right anymore. Maybe again, I haven't really looked into it. I haven't really seen a lot of people break it down. You know, I wish more former kickers would speak about the matter. Maybe like Vinatieri or somebody would say something like so maybe to get like from a kicker's perspective.
It's
I mean,
just
because
Jay Feely that's been speaking about it, really.
yeah, so I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it. And well, I know a lot of people talking about it, but I mean like people with actual knowledge to it. Like I feel like nobody really knows, because I mean, we were at that game. Every Eagles fan, I never seen that before. Every Eagles fan knew that he wasn't going to make it. I mean, they all were confident that he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to say, like that Justin Tucker won't make a field goal. And then that ruins Justin Tucker missing field goals is almost as bad as us fumbling the ball. Like it just ruins the momentum of the Ravens for some reason. Like it felt like when Tucker missed field goals in the past, it was like, oh man, it's about to be a long game, of fumbles and a whole bunch of dumb plays and a whole bunch of just overall, ridiculousness. But it just feels like, right now, yeah, the way that I can compare it to is I don't know if I'm gonna explain this right, but have you ever done something, messed up something, and then, you're trying to get that feel for doing it right again, and then you just can't. Like you're like overthinking it, you're maybe overshooting it, overdoing something, whatever, and then you just can't get that, the way you had it before. You just kind of keep messing it up. You're like almost kind of like the yips, I guess, in a way. Maybe he has that, where he's trying to find that form. Maybe he's trying to, overdo it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what goes into kicking. I've never really paid attention to it because again, I haven't really needed to until now. Where it's an issue because I mean, do we trust Tucker making a field goal in Buffalo in 20 degrees? Do we trust him making an Arrowhead in 10 degrees? Do we even trust him making it in Pittsburgh in 30 degrees? We know how shitty that field gets. So I mean, I don't know, man. I really hope he figures it out because this is becoming bigger issue. Seems like every week. Because like I said, we lost by all of our games. We lost combined like 22 points, and he's missed 22 points worth of field goals and extra points.
It's definitely something that, Tucker and the Ravens have to figure out. And,
Mm.
I guess the good thing is that Harbs is, specializing in special teams. So, maybe
Don't
he'll
seem like it.
have the edge in figuring it out, but it doesn't seem like it. Our special teams have been at the bottom of the league this year, I believe.
Hmm. Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about the offense. Let's talk about Diontae Johnson. So he's been suspended. He won't be able to play in the Giants game. He's been suspended a game by the Ravens because he refused to come out. And the Ravens have had a history of, not getting, the big name wide receivers, in the offseason or at the trade deadlines. And, even when we do get wide receivers, we don't really give them that much, attention, or snaps, to be honest. And, I've said this last year when we had OBJ, he only had like 50 receptions, which was like ridiculous to me, and he made the most out of every reception he got. And it seems like with Diontae Johnson, he hasn't really been included in the Ravens, offensive scheme or plans. And I get how frustrating that could be, but you know, that's got to be a cancer to have in the locker room,
Right.
or on the sideline, a player not wanting to come out. And I even remember, Lamar, answering a question, he wants to see him out there, So what do you think is going on with the Ravens? I mean, this isn't the only time we've seen a player have a healthy scratch or be benched, and there's nothing said about it. It's just, very vague answers. So what's your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, this is just another wrinkle in a weird season so far. I mean, this season has been filled with a lot of success, but it feels like it's just been filled with a lot of unnecessary things, and this is another one of those unnecessary things to happen. And, I heard that obviously it was the refusal to come in the game, in the Eagles game. I haven't heard when. I was watching the video and they apparently said that they saw on Twitter that he was refusing to come in the game at the end of the game. I don't know if that's true or not. The Ravens didn't seem to, they didn't elaborate on it. They just said he just was refusing to come in the game, because I mean, there's two different reactions here. Because if he's refusing to come into the game right after Bateman's injury, that's just selfish. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Honestly, that's ridiculous. Honestly, I mean, because you want to complain about getting the ball or not getting the ball, and you don't come in when you have a chance to become that wide receiver two of the team, So you're allowing guys like Aguilar and Wallace to go out there. I think that's a little selfish. I think that's a little ridiculous. And I think that, we don't need that, honestly. We don't need that. But if Harbaugh told him to go in the game right at the last minute in that last drive or one of the last few drives or whatever, instead of telling him to go in all game, then I maybe wouldn't say I understand because it's still a little bit selfish. You still got
mm,
to play your snaps. But if it was the case that he didn't get called to go in the game until the last minute, I understand a little bit frustration there because he's been in this on this team for a few weeks now. He's had a chance to hopefully learn some of the verbiage or some of the system or whatever. I'd hope that we didn't wait till last minute to bring him into the game because two things can be true. Two things can be true. First, one thing that got to be true is you need to play, no
yeah,
matter when it is. But another thing that can be true, you got to use your guys as well. Because why is a veteran got to earn his snaps on this team? Earn. I'm not obviously not every snap is given. He's gonna
mm,
have to learn the new offense, but I feel like there's been a plenty of time now to learn the offense. From that Thursday gap to that Sunday gap. Between the Bengals and the Steelers, I think it was, and then obviously another week. Of extra work when it comes to Sunday to Monday. A shorter week this week for going from Monday to Sunday, but I feel like there's ample amount of time to have learned the offense by now.
mm.
So why isn't he out there? You can't tell me Nelson Aguilar is better than
He
Diontae
dropped the
Johnson
pass.
out there.
He dropped
Exactly.
he
I think he
passed.
dropped two passes in that Eagles game.
Hmm.
So like I said, context matters to this because, like I said, if he refused to go in the game early, that's incredibly selfish by him. And honestly, I'm surprised he's not cut. But if he refused to come in the game late, it's still selfish. But I could understand a little bit of frustration there, where it's, you know, why wasn't I called into the game sooner? So and he's just once again the Ravens, maybe mishandling receivers. Another year of that happening. They don't seem to know how to use their playmakers properly sometimes, especially versus these type of teams. So again, I don't know for sure. I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not in the castle. I'm not on the sideline, so I don't know for sure. I don't want to make speculations. I know everyone's pissed at Harbaugh. I know everyone's pissed at Johnson. Whatever you want to say, I don't know. But for my 2 cents, I think it could either, if the context is going to matter, it's either selfish play. Well, no matter what, it's kind of selfish play,
Mm.
but it could also be just coaching, incompetence as well, which is on the table. I'm not going to rule that out, but again, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I don't know either. And it sucks because I was very excited to see him on the team. I saw what he did with the Steelers a couple years ago, how
Mm,
valuable he was to their offense, and I couldn't wait to see Lamar, be tandemed with that, especially with,
mm,
the trajectory of his MVP season, how he was going at that point in time when we first got him. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully he's ready to suit up by the Steelers game, a game that we really need to win.
yeah.
Um, and we're going to need him, you know. That was that game that we played against the Steelers a couple weeks ago, when Mike Tomlin said those comments, that was a perfect time to get to, revenge, but we couldn't get it. So,
Mm.
uh, moving on, you think it's time to move to the stats? So you think there's more to be said about that?
I just want to say, I mean, this offense continues to look the same versus these teams that can bully you.
Yes,
Let
yes.
me let me just
Great
be real
point.
here.
Yes.
Let me just be real here. The Ravens are a soft team. You know, when they play these elite teams, these, bully-like teams, they're very, very soft teams. And I mean soft in every way, man. Like any way possible when it comes to the trenches, when it comes to the play calling, when it comes to whatever. The Ravens are easily mentally beat and they're easily physically beat as well in these games as well. So, that's kind of my 2 cents on the offense. Again, I kind of want to make a video for the bye week, just kind of discussing where we can move forward, but maybe I'll go more into that. But I just feel like the Ravens play a soft brand of football, especially when things don't go their way.
And I agree. And, like how we were talking about before, when they play against a team with, great pass rushers like the Chiefs, like the Raiders, like the Eagles, how we just played, the Steelers, even the Browns, it's it's funny because all of those are
And
losses.
I was gonna say that it's not a coincidence that we struggle against these AFC North teams
Yeah,
because that's all it is. It's physical. It's
yeah,
physicality to the highest degree. It's your division opponent. And honestly, they've been soft. This whole team, when they get punched in the mouth, they're soft. They want to, act on big and bad versus these teams they can roll over. But when it comes to it, this is the reason why I lose in the playoffs. Come soft.
yep.
Can't win the trenches. There's no. I'll probably get into it in the next video, but just they're soft,
You're fed up with it.
pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's a great time to get into those stats now. Yeah, let's
All
do
right,
it.
all right. You see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is your cue, buddy.
All right. So Lamar Jackson went 23 of 36, 237 yards, two touchdowns. He put on a great drive at the last drive of the game. We would like to see more of that throughout the game, but it's understandable, what happened.
Mhm.
Derrick Henry had 19 carries for 82 yards. It kind that stat line kind of looks deceiving because a lot of his yards were hard to come by in this
Yeah,
game. And again, that's the O line not really getting a lot of running lanes for Henry no more. I even
because these
remember,
guards suck.
yeah, yeah, and I even remember Stephen A. Smith. He was saying, he felt like Derrick Henry should have close to 2,000 yards this season, but because of how we're blocking for him, he's not really close to that yet. So,
Yep.
hopefully he can get a little bit of surge towards the end of the season. He got a new hairstyle, so hopefully that changes something. Lamar Jackson had 8 carries for 79 yards, and that's really it for the running. In terms of the receiving, Zay Flowers had 3 receptions for 74 yards. Mark Andrews had six receptions for 67 yards, one touchdown. Isaiah Likely had 5 receptions for 38 yards and then one touchdown. Derrick Henry had 3 receptions for 29 yards. Justice Hill had 4 receptions for 15 yards, and Tylan Wallace had 2 receptions for 14 yards. There was a moment in the game people were kind of taking note of when Zay Flowers seemed a little bit animated, after not getting the ball,
Um,
to be honest.
can you repeat that? Because the Zoom kind of glitched out a little bit.
Oh yeah, I was saying that Zay Flowers, he was like kind of animated on the sidelines because I guess he didn't get the ball on one play or something like that. And people were kind of saying, "Oh, he's a diva," but some other people were liking that fire from him. And I'm kind of on the side of the people that like that fire from him.
Yeah.
I think it's good to play with that type of energy.
Yeah, we've had a lot of, kind of stalemate receivers where they could just walk back to the sideline, not giving a crap.
Yeah.
So anyways, moving on to the defense, Roquan Smith has 11 total tackles. He has a half sack and a QB hit. 80 Washington has 8 total tackles. He has 2 tackle for loss. Chris Board has 7 total tackles. He has a tackle for loss as well. Brennan Stephen has 4 total tackles. He has a pass deflection. Travis Jones has 4 tackles. He has 1 tackle for loss. Trenton Simpson has 4 tackles. Kyle Hamilton as well. Tavius Robinson has 4 total tackles and a tackle for loss. Broderick Washington and Marlon Humphrey each have 3 tackles. Broderick had a sack, and then Marlon had that other part of that half sack that Roquan got. They both have QB hits. Brent Urban has two total tackles. So does Malik Harrison. And Adisa Isaac, Nate Wiggins, Nnamdi Madubuike, and Odafe Owe each record one tackle, with Nnamdi Madubuike recording a pass deflection. Um, Shout out to the defense, man. They played pretty decent.
Yeah.
To move on to team stats, the Ravens converted 24 first downs to the Eagles 17. Um, we had 11 passing first downs to their 7. They had 9 rushing touchdowns. Not touchdowns. Rushing first downs to our 10. We had 3 from penalties and they had 1. They were 4 for 12 on third down and we were 6 for 15. They were 1 for 1 on fourth down and we were 1 for 2. They ran 54 total plays to our 71. We ran 372. We had 372 yards to the 252. We had 11 total drives to their 12. We averaged 5.2 yards per play compared to their 4.7. Um, we had 166 rushing yards to their 140. We were 2 for 5 in the red zone to their 2 for 3. We had 4 penalties for 20 yards. They had 8 for 55. We had the ball for 33 minutes and 51 seconds to their 26 minutes and 9 seconds. So, um, they did what we can. And honestly, the Eagles are probably what we want to be, which is win ugly, man. I mean, sometimes it's what it has to be, you know. Not every game has to be the shootout or whatever. Not every game has to be this game where you need to put up 1,000 points or whatever. Like sometimes if your defense is balling out, sometimes you need to be just good enough to win the game, you know, and the Ravens can't win ugly. They can't show grit. They can't show the willingness to fight out for yards. Like I understand that the Ravens want to be explosive. They want to be this long developing, play team, whatever, but sometimes the game doesn't call for that.
Mhm.
Sometimes these teams are going to play you quick, and they want you to get that ball out quick. That's the only way to counter some of these things. And the Ravens got to learn, man. Like, and they're not going to win the Super Bowl if they can't learn that. And if they continue not to learn, they just got to hope for things to fall their way, I guess, But like I said, I'll go into that next video. But I don't know, man. This is a Super Bowl caliber team, but I don't know if they can get there if they keep playing like this.
And they won't. We have a very tough schedule, especially with the degree of how the AFC playoffs, are shaping out. The Bills, Chiefs and Steelers looking like juggernauts. Well, I don't know
Well,
about the Chiefs,
no, it's
but
down with the Chiefs.
yeah,
They always find a way though. That's the
they
thing. But like you got to give them some sort of credit. They know how to figure it out. They know how to find a way.
that's true.
We don't know how to find the ways to win. We find ways to lose. There's a difference.
Mhm. That's
Well, no shit, there's a difference. But you get my point.
yeah. Yeah, we shoot ourselves in the foot. And we're very undisciplined and we do things that end up biting us back in the end. So, we got to clean that up. It's honestly should have been cleaned up by now, but
Yeah.
that's what you get with Ravens football sometimes.
Look, the way I see it, I like the way the press conferences went at the end. I feel like the Ravens have the right mentality. I kind of assumed that this defense would be what it was, but they started to turn a corner. Maybe we could see this whole team do it as well. So, but again, I don't know. These last 4 games are very, very important.
Yeah. So, hopefully we can, we should get this win against the Giants. I'm just gonna say that. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say we should get the win against the Giants. There's literally a helicopter that flew over the stadium telling them to fix this dumpster fire. If we don't beat them by at least 3 scores, something's wrong with us. So luckily we got that game up next on our plate and we should win. We really should,
hmm
take some steam off. So is you got anything else you want to add in? That's all I got. Just an unfortunate loss. Hopefully it's a wake up call. We're gonna be playing these type of games in the playoffs, and you got to be prepared for it. So,
Right.
you know, Giants up next. We should get the win. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below what were your thoughts about this game. What are your thoughts about the Diontae Johnson situation? What are your thoughts about Justin Tucker? Comment that down below. Also, check out our social medias, our Instagram, our TikTok, our Twitter. Jared's cooking up some great graphics on there. Make sure you show them some love. And also check out our second channel, Casual Cinema. We'll be adding some videos on there soon. So stay tuned. But that's all we got for you guys in this video. We're Bird Spray Sports, and we're out.
Right.